Poppinger's going to take it right foot to top. Oh! Doncaster Rovers have done it!
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Aaron Chan here for Forever Football DRFC, your Doncaster Rovers fan channel. Welcome to another January Transfer Live, bringing you the latest news from the January transfer window. And of course, any breaking news that comes out this evening, we'll bring it to you live all across football. This is a very Donny-based show in terms of confirmed stories to speak about today. We're also going to give you guys the chance to share your thoughts. I am sorry it is this late. I've just finished work, so that's probably why it's late. But yeah, we're going to be going through a few things Rovers in this video. It's a bit like a daily reports as well in a way, but we're also going to go through a few stories. We do have some very interesting stories, some very negative stories about Rovers. No surprises there. Basically, for your headlines, first of all, nothing seems to be imminent. Galbraith could be out the door, and Green is on his way to Boston United after just a couple of months at Rovers. Yes, Chal, NDRZ. Galbraith isn't leaving. It's a maybe. Oh no. I don't know what the oh no is supposed to be. I don't know if it's an oh no for my sanity or oh no because one of our only better players could be leaving. Big up Chal says Big Dips or Big Dipper for short, for long version. But we are going to go through these stories one by one. Now, I think the best place to start is probably the Ethan Galbraith story. This broke. Let's have a look. Championship. It'll probably be in champion. No, it's not in championship. It'll probably be in League One because that's where he's at right now. But yeah, this is from BBC Sport. This is from BBC Sport, and no, it's not there. What? Why? Let's have a look. So it was on BBC Sport. It is on BBC Sport. There it is. Yeah, it's from Northern Ireland. So, Ethan Galbraith, this Northern Ireland midfielder, the subject of interest from League One and Championship clubs. Manchester United and Northern Ireland midfielder Ethan Galbraith is attracting interest from a number of Championship and League One clubs. Several clubs are battling to bring the 20-year-old in on loan at the January transfer window. Galbraith, who has won 2 international caps, has spent the present campaign up to now on loan at Doncaster Rovers. Doncaster are currently rooted to the bottom of League One. Despite that, Galbraith has benefited from a regular game time, making over 20 appearances and putting in a string of standout performances for the struggling side. He signed a long-term contract with Manchester United last season, which will keep him at Old Trafford until June 2023, before making the loan switch to Doncaster during the summer. Now, the under-21 Northern Ireland captain has caught the eye of a number of clubs who feel he can play at a higher level. Premier League club United include a provision to recall the Glengormley native midway through a season-long switch and may want to test out Galbraith in a more competitive environment. The midfielder is one of the most highly rated young players to come through the Northern Ireland system, has been tipped as a future international regular. His sole run out for the United senior side was a late substitute in the 2-1 Europa League defeat by Astana in Kazakhstan just 2 years ago. He made his senior international debut in a friendly against Luxembourg at Windsor Park in September 2019 and followed that up by coming off the bench in the Nations League draw at home to Romania in November 2020. So obviously that is the story. Honestly, Galbraith said, Aiden said Galbraith isn't leaving. It's a maybe. But what did I say on Twitter today after I heard the news? When the champ comes knocking, Rovers go leaving. Rovers start leaving. It's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. There was confidence of keeping Galbraith, but as soon as there is interest from the higher up, you just know Galbraith is not staying here. No matter how much we want him, no matter how much he wants to stay there, there'll be a clause in his contract where United can rip it out, and Doncaster can't do jack about the situation. And what we're going to do, we're going to bring in someone lesser quality than Galbraith, and we go down anyway. You just know it's going to happen. You just know it's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, fair play. But if it does happen, I won't be surprised. I hope he does not leave. I hope so as well. But you just know it's going to happen. You know he's going to leave. And what's going to happen is we're going to bring someone who isn't a good replacement for Ethan Galbraith, and the squad will get worse. That's how much optimism I've got for the rest of this season. I've got no optimism. And I'll go on about that nothing imminent story next because I'm fuming about that. Galbraith to Argyle, from what I've heard, if Galbraith goes to you, then he might actually have a better season. Well, he's been our best player by a million miles. He's been doing great in bad performances for the team. So, I expect Galbraith to turn up in a team that wins week in, week out nearly, rather than just turn up in a team that loses week in, week out daily. So, if he turns up for us in a season where we're abysmal, he's going to turn up for someone like Argyle when they're at the best. Chelsea United fan, I'd sooner get Galbraith back to playing. You'd have the shower of S we call a first team that I've down-tooled. I'd honestly sooner rather give the kids a run out. And it'd be great to see Galbraith learn under Ralph Ragnick at some point. I think with him being a future Northern Ireland first teamer, I think Galbraith could have a bright future at United. He just takes those couple of extra loans out over the next couple of years just to keep his development up and running. And Galbraith could be a nice first team midfielder for United. But we'll only have 6 months to play in the decision because we're probably going to lose him. Do you think Doncaster will stay up? No. He'd be stupid to stay at Donny. Exactly. He's a great lad, and I'm sure he'd want to stay. But, for me, I just think Galbraith will go. As much I want to have confidence that we'll keep him, but I think he's going to go. Chaker's going to go anyway. Vilka's going to go back. Dahlberg's hinted to be going back. If Galbraith goes back as well, and we don't bring even enough into the squad for permanent sign-ins, that's our season done. And I would not be surprised after this window if there are more and more fan protests against the owners. I would not be surprised, because if January is a flop and we let go or sell rather than bring in, then the club's done. We've still got Smith. Smith's a decent player. He's not Galbraith, though, in my opinion. Big up Charles, says Charlie. Smith is pony. Okay, do you need tissue? I do wonder, actually, which League One clubs and Championship clubs are actually linked to Galbraith. If anyone's got any extra info from that. Because this came from the United Journal via BBC Sports. So we'll see what clubs go in for him. If it's someone of the level of Argyle or Sheffield Wednesday or someone like that, then we're going to lose him. So close to 1.3k. I know. Thank you all so much for the support. It really does mean a lot. Right. Let's go into our next story. And again, like I said, this one really gets on my Nelly. So, for those asking about signing, says Liam Hoden, just a few hours ago, I checked this morning before this week's paper went to print. There was nothing imminent. Let's all think about that for a second. Doncaster Rovers, before the start of the flipping window, said we have verbal agreements in place. We have deals that are, pretty much ready to sign off. We have significant funds, and yet we are not bringing them in. When you see Fleetwood sell one of their top teenage players for about £1 million to Bournemouth, they're going to jump at the chance. They're going to go for the deals. They're going to go for the replacements with that £1 million. They're going to go for it because Fleetwood want to stay in this bloody league. Fleetwood don't want to go down. Lincoln brought in that young, exciting prospect, Morgan Whittaker, to be involved in that attack, to lead them out the relegation zone. Morecambe, I'm sure if Cole Stockton gets sold, they're going to use the money and spend it wisely to stay out of relegation. What are we going to do? Let go of our loanees and the permanents? If Marquise is too expensive, if Downing is too expensive, if Lalkovic isn't what we need, who are we bringing in? Because I'm telling you now, if we do not have the window that we should be getting, we are down. We are so down, especially if Galbraith goes as well. Galbraith, Dahlberg, Vilka, Chaker. Those four go back, and no one of quality gets brought in permanently or on loan, or we just get flooded with loanees. Time's up. It's done. Season's over. If you want to protest against the owners, I'm not stopping you, and neither will anyone else. I've seen it on social media. 18 Dapper's had enough. I've had enough. Other people have had enough, and it's time for answers. What is happening? If we sign someone that's not good enough, again, what does this tell about our season? What does this tell about this club? What does this tell about the direction we're going in? I can tell you it's not good. And look at the responses down below. Makes a mockery of what was said about deals being more or less in place and significant funds being available. Didn't believe a word of it then, and this just confirms it. And straight away, one of the bowling outs who's been bowling out since the very beginning. How long have we been saying that we've been lied to? Far too long, they replied. If they were open and honest, like the person replies, if they were open and honest, I'd respect it. If there was a bit more transparency with the fans, I'd respect it. If they came out and told us the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, I would respect it. If the owners were ever forced out of the club or they ever sold the club, they wouldn't get my, sincere condolence. They wouldn't get a variety of abuse from me. They would get my best wishes and goodbye. But maybe we need a director of football in place now. Maybe this is more than director of football. Maybe something needs to happen with the ownership for things to actually change. And I'm not saying get them out. I'm just saying time for change. I'm not saying those words, Baldwin, out. I'm saying time for change. Take time for change how you take it. Spin it however you want to spin it. I say time for change. If this window is a shambles, time for change. If we go down to League Two and do not come back up in the first year or two, time for change. We've had enough now. So let's have a look at others. To be fair, Galbraith hasn't been anywhere near as good recently since Bostock's injury. Bostock will have him to play further forward. We'll need him to stay, though. Will Bostock stay? He's out of contract in the summer. I'm sure he'll want to go somewhere else where he don't want to play League Two football. Sunderland, I heard. It'd be interesting to see if he went to Sunderland. If Galbraith went to Sunderland are going up and we're going down. Be interesting if Galbraith goes, whether you sign anyone or once again dip into the loan market, considering the board told you you've been doing less of that. Exactly. If we get more than 5 loanees, they've clearly lied. If Galbraith leaves, I'm leaving Doncaster. We'll still have 5 loans by the end of the season. If we have more than 5 loans, I'm done. We are down already. This team is not good enough. All started because of Welland. He doesn't put in the state. Could have been better. It sort of makes you think, doesn't it? It makes you think, doesn't it? If Wellens wasn't manager at the start, if we had a different manager in the summer, would there still be the same problems? Some would say yes. I wouldn't say yes or no because you never know, do you? Down, 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 down. That's been clipped. And I'm actually glad it's been clipped because people might actually listen now. Apparently, we're in for Millwall's Matt Smith. Just Googled him and he's 6'6". I don't know what the source is on that. Please comment down below your source on that. It's going to get confusing with more than one Matt Smith, but let's have a look. So Matt Smith, 6'6". He was at QPR a couple of years back, been at Millwall a couple of years. He's got experience on loan at Bristol from Fulham. Other experience in the EFL like Leeds, Oldham, Macclesfield. Been in non-league 10 years ago with Solihull Moors. So, 32 years old, he's experienced, could be what we need up front. Galbraith is leaving. There's talk he could be leaving. There's talk from the United Journal via BBC Sport, both of them saying it could be happening to a Championship or League One club. Club out. When did this happen? Why would Matt Smith be coming to Donny? He's played 21 games for Millwall this season. Exactly. So I'd be very interested there. I can't see anybody coming in and feel sorry for McSheffrey. He's not going to be backed by the board. No, it's time for the boardroom clear out or even a takeover. Maybe it is time. If your owners are going to leave, who would take over? We are a small club with no good player to sell for profit. And that's the flip side. Who's got enough belief to take over this club? That's the other side you've got to look at it. The Baldwin-Outs can say what they want. But, I'd be interested to hear from the Baldwin-Outs, actually. Who do you feel like we'd actually get taken over if Baldwin ever left? Because I, on the flip side to it, sort of back them a bit. If Baldwin left, I really don't see, anyone else coming in straight away. And I think we'd be under a period where we get little to no investment whatsoever if Baldwin and that left. I might be wrong. There might be someone waiting around the corner that'll take a chance on a club like us and get us into those heights. But we just don't know, do we? Blank space from John. He's had enough. We need to get behind the team on Saturday and hope for the best. Come on, Rovers. I want to get behind the team, and I'm going to get behind the team always. But I've just got a feeling the atmosphere is going to be toxic on Saturday with how many flags, banners, etc. Can you put the Baldwin out flag as your green screen? I won't dare, mate. I'm sure there'll be enough Baldwin out flags at the game on Saturday. Can't have enough Matt Smiths. Biggest concern is lack of decision-making by the board. Seems to be deteriorating a lot. That said, be careful what you wish for. Not sure we have too many takers to invest the club. Exactly. I won't mind having 6 loans for the rest of the season, to be honest, only because of injuries we've had in our squad size. Yeah, I get that. But I'd rather sign permanent players that we know are going to be good quality. That's just I'd rather stick to permanent players to build a proper Doncaster Rovers squad. I'd have a few loanees, but not over the 5 that were promised. I wouldn't go over the promised limit, even in a situation like ours. But while I'm going through this last story, I'm going to share the StreamYard link below so you guys can come on and have your say. I'd be interested to hear from you tonight. Baldwin outers, Baldwin inners, rivals. I'd love to hear from all of you tonight. So yeah, please let's bring them in. I got an interesting reply actually on the Galbraith thing. Someone said, be interesting to see if Galbraith in the side on Saturday. If not, the writing's on the wall. We could be even thinner than usual depending on how Bogle, Barlow and Gardner have recovered, especially with no incomings looking likely anytime soon. # worrying. And you know what? He's right. If Galbraith's not in the side on Saturday when he's already, we already know he's fit. We already know he's 100% fit. So if he's not in the side on Saturday, and not even on the bench as well, not even just in the starting 11, if he's not on the bench either on Saturday, the writing's on the wall. Even for the next game as well against Wigan, the writing could be on the wall with that one. But let's get into some Doncaster Rovers news from the club themselves. And this is another big shock. After only a couple of months, Paul Green has left his position as first-team fitness coach. He's departed the club after being offered the interim manager's role at Boston United. Everyone at the club would like to wish Paul the best with his future endeavours. Paul Green is a bloody legend at this club. And, whether he wanted the job or we were going to let him go anyway, he's been here a couple of months. Now, the injury record at the moment's been terrible, so I can kind of understand that if he was being let go anyway. But the fact that he's took the interim job over Boston is great for him and his career. But where does this leave us? Where the hell does it leave us? Because if we're appointing from within, no disrespect to Gary and Frank, and we're having to appoint coaches from within because we're not going out there and looking themselves, it's either a really bold approach or a really stupid approach. Because what's more than likely going to happen is we're going to approach a fitness coach from the academy. That's more than likely what we're going to do here. I'm probably going to expect an appointment from within again. We should send Alberg and Jakar back to Watford and use their ways to bring in 1 or 2 permanent players. I get that. The owners are cash cows. Aren't cash cows. They're balancing books. Donny just don't get the numbers required to do more than the Yayo team unless they buy good or take advantage of the youth. And I get that. And I love that they're balancing the books because I'd like to set an example of how to be financially run well. It's the decision-making that's getting me. It's the decision-making that's getting a lot of people. And I think, people can say Baldwin out, but I think the heart of it is financially as a business, we're run well. In terms of a football club making football decisions, we're not run well. So we need to make better footballing decisions. Otherwise, maybe something needs to happen to give them a wake-up call. whether that's League Two football, whether that's even non-league football. I'm not even ruling out non-league football if we keep going the way we're going. It's just one of those things. But I put the StreamYard link in the chat so you guys can come on and have your say. Yes, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a weird one for me. We're used to negativity. We're used to it. We're used to negatives this window, but it just gets worse and worse with no positives. What do you need to do is raid a selling club, considering your alleged financial stability. Think Derby, etc. Pick up same younger players from the club that are struggling will help you improve. That would be a nice shout. But again, can we even afford their wages for a struggling club? Do you believe that Galbraith hasn't been anything special since that wonder goal? Nothing AJ Greaves couldn't handle with a bit of experience. For me, with Galbraith, I think he's still been decent. I think he's still had good performances and all right performances. He hasn't been completely standout since Cambridge, but I think there's still been decent performances. He's still been our best player this season by a mile. So, even though it's not hard to beat most of the players in the squad at the moment, Galbraith's been our best player by a mile. So, it's still going to be a bad departure for me, but I probably expect it coming. Been all negative for around a year now. I think it's been more than a year, mate. I think it was when McCann left and we had 6 contracted players in the squad. Think of Burton, think of Wimbledon. These lot survive with a good window and time. I think we rushed the summer transfer window, so a bit of time to get Gary's players. Think we could be good. I mean, that's definitely a way of looking at it. But to be honest with you, if we gave the board time and we get nobody in or nobody in of quality, then what else? What do we say after that? RW Gaming, what do you? If the board don't bring anyone of quality or hardly anyone in January after giving them the time, what would you make of the window and what would you think of the board then? Joe Olowu, best player. Yeah, I think Olowu's sort of taken the Galbraith a little bit over as best player so far this season. I think he's been consistently better now than Galbraith. Galbraith was the best player, but I think he's been one of our better players. I think Galbraith's been our best player for about a mile, but that's because Olowu wasn't here longer than Galbraith. So that's why I sort of judge it on that. Galbraith's been average after scoring that goal, not life or death if he goes. Yeah, Olowu very positive. Dalberg is better than Lewis Jones, in my opinion. Dalberg's probably going back anyway. Sorry to break the news, but Dalberg's going back anyway. He's going to be going back to Watford. There was definitely hints of him going back. Never fall in love with your lone player, but you can just admire Galbraith's play. Absolutely. Galbraith's been great because of the players around him. He's our best player. I think Olo's been one of our better players, but Thiago's been the best loan. April Fool's Day comes early. If the board doesn't bring anyone of quality, then things will kick off. I just think we need to calm down. 5 days in, nothing needs to be rushed. Yeah, I get that. If it comes to the 1st of February and we sign no one, then I'll be bonkers mad. I think what was angered fans is that a lot donated last 2 season tickets money plus other fundraising schemes to help the club and not seeing much back in return on the pitch. That's something, that I want to call out. What's happening on the pitch for us to not, unless the free transfers and the loan money and that is spent from money from the donated season tickets. They are preparing for relegation. I'm sure next year will go up. Our boys have been good players from 2. I don't even know if we'll go up from League 2, to be honest. It depends. If we're going to take loan players, we need to have the heart playing for the club. No heart, don't bring them in. That's the mistake we've made in the past. That's the mistake we've made in past situations. Get that Chikera 5-year contract. Jesus. If he gets a 5-year contract, Tam needing therapy. Jones better than Dalberg. I mean, Dalberg was good for 10 games max. Maybe kicking is woeful and is very indecisive. Yeah. I think Welland's made some bad decisions on signing Rochelle Williams, Chikera, and I think he wasted money on Ben Close and Tom Moreau. They're good, but probably overpaid their contracts. To be honest, this board is turning football into a nightmare for me, but if Galbraith leaves, we're in big trouble and Greaves needs to set up. Problem is, he's nowhere near the level of fitness that's needed. Exactly. Zero evidence we got from the two from Mansfield the other week. Exactly. The board stitched up Wellings with the budget and squad depth they gave him. I don't know what they expected. They have the club poorly in football terms. And I think you've used very key words there, Kyle. Football terms. In terms of business terms and keeping us financially stable, I'll always respect him for that, for keeping our club alive. I'll always respect him for that. They're the guys that kept the club alive, and they're the reason we, have a club to support in the first place. So I'll always respect him for that. But if they need to move on, then they need to move on. If nothing good happens on the pitch. So if it's just down to recruitment, then the recruitment team needs to go and get a shake up and get replaced. But if the board don't replace the recruitment team, well, then they're part of the problem. But yeah, for me, I feel like the board have got to answer a lot of questions. They answer quite a few of them at the Meet the Owners event, but whether they can back up their talk now is what we'll see come the end of the window. Is Galbraith actually leaving? What's the source? So BBC Sport have said this, and it's been reported from the United Journal via BBC Sport. Apparently, I've run on Instagram. We have 500k to spend, but we was meant to be backing the manager with funds. Don't know if 500k is true. I mean, McSheffrey did come out and say that if we got John Marquis, his budget will eat up the entire transfer budget. What we need to spend on Marquis would be the budget pretty much the whole budget eaten up. So, I think we're looking at probably a few $100,000 if it's that. They took money from Marquis and Whiteman sales and not reinvested. That's how they kept the club running. Good, no ambition since they've been in charge, been a downward decline. If you can keep the club afloat, great. If the club's already afloat and you've got money left over that you can spend on the pitch, spend it on the pitch. Don't just keep it, away. The extra funds released late for a striker that we didn't actually get to then just end up getting a couple of free agents afterwards anyway. Read on Insta, the most trustful source. When the champ comes knocking, the Rovers start leaving. That's an official quote now. But yeah, guys, I'll put the link in the description down below. Come on and have your not the description, the live chat. Come on and have your say. I want to get some fans' opinions on this. Use your audio if you don't use your camera. We should do what Crew are doing. Bring through young players and sell them on for profit and stop letting them go for free. Spot on. I think using the youth academy is exactly what we need. That's one of the benefits of a manager like Gary McSheffrey. He knows that youthful pathway, and he's going to bring through the youth. I think this year's got a very nice crop of youngsters coming through. Your likes of Bobby Faulkner, etc. Yeah, I think there's some really cool youth coming through. Is Galbraith leaving? Maybe. Does Galbraith remind you when we had Herbie Kane? A little bit, yeah. All about Club Doncaster. Club Doncaster is part of the forefront of the club. The 500k is what they're increasing by per year. Yep. Do they have to be Donny fans? No, you can be fans of anyone. We was never getting Will Grigg. He's at 10 a week. Why would he come here? It was all false. Don't believe everything you read. Well, the Free Press was reporting about Will Grigg, and they've got the sort of sources from the club, if you like. So, But to be fair, the thing that sort of caught me about Will Grigg was the fact that he was there what looked like early afternoon from the pictures and the sunlight in the pictures. It was early afternoon. And, it was sort of announced that we weren't getting him and Rotherham got him on the deadline. So we sort of wasted a lot of hours doing practically nothing. But yeah. So Lewis, who's a Hull fan, is here. Lewis, we spoke about a year ago about Donny and high. And now look at where we are. We're bottom of the league. We've not got anyone imminently coming in compared to other clubs. We're talking about letting go rather than bringing in, with Galbraith possibly going. Galbraith looks to be going. Vilka's gone back. Jakur's going to go back. I mean, what's happened from an outsider's point of view? What do you think's happened? And do you trust the running of the football club?
I mean, well, to be quite fair, you lost Darren Moore and he went downhill. In the best way to put it. Well, I mean, of course, we can't all put it down to Darren Moore leaving because this season is nothing on Darren Moore. This season has nothing to do with Darren Moore. Darren Moore hasn't been here the entire season. But obviously, last season he was flying high, and obviously you lost Darren Moore, and then you kind of went downhill there. This season, I don't know why it's been with you. Like, it's not like, yes, you bought quite a lot of players in, but you didn't bring the amount of players, I don't think, that Ipswich bought in. And yes, Ipswich had a poor start, but they're starting to gel and starting to get results. It seems, I don't know if you feel the same as a Donny fan, it seems like you haven't sort of gelled and you're just not getting results.
Yeah, but to be fair, I think there's a lot of off-field decisions that have affected us this season as well.
Yeah, but obviously, I think, like what you've said and what some Donny fans are saying, obviously, I wasn't aware that these current owners, I wasn't aware that you was in a state where you potentially looking at liquidation. Obviously, they bought the club and bought you out of that situation. So I think, like you said, football terms, it is the perfect way because you can't say someone's not financially stable because obviously to run a football club you have to be financially stable, otherwise you're going to be running the club to the ground.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen and what I'm hearing from like you and that, there's no income at the minute, and it's all it seems to all be your loan players clearing off and other players potentially leaving.
Yeah, I mean, well, Cal's just said here, it's not all about money to me. We all know it was Bramall's money. John Ryan was spending it, was the love of the club. We admired these guys. For the love of the club, we admired. These guys don't love this club, not about money with the owners, with me. And I think that's an interesting point. I think it's the way you spend the money, and they've not really spent a lot of it. They've just really sold.
I'm kind of thinking if, like, don't get me wrong, Welling's obviously wanted some of these players that you bought in. But do you think some of this was the board and not Welling's? Because
to be honest with you, I'm starting to really think we are.
Because the board seems to. I don't want to see the board make all the signings because obviously they don't.
The recruitment team need to answer a lot more questions. I think Graham Young has been very lucky in dodging some of the blame, but I think he needs to start answering some questions.
I mean,
they don't get one in January.
As everyone knows, whoever you support, they have to look and they have to speak to your manager and obviously to who they want, because obviously the manager is the one on the touchline. The manager is the one that sees what's going wrong, where he needs to improve during the season. Whereas, like, the owner's, like, kind of behind closed doors. And, yes, granted, there were so many games, but owners ain't at every game.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't know if the owners are there every single match. I can't remember.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
I don't know. I think we're going down because what loans are we going to want to play in this team? What players are we attacking? It's been coming for years. We bring in 8 or 9 new players every year. And to be honest with you, since we got back up to League One a few years ago, it probably has been coming. Since Grant McCann left us with about 6 contracted professionals and Darren Moore came in, we had that 8th place finish, which had a bit of a high. Then he left us, and then we dropped to like a stone to 14th. And we've carried on that bad form. We are with 2 brand new managers, one of them caretaker, that's become permanent. And, you know, our best players from the spine that got us up to League One has been sold. We didn't build on it, we sold it. And, you know, I look at the players in that spine. You had Blair, you had Rowe, you had Whiteman, you had Anderson, you had Marquis. Marquis has gone, Whiteman's gone, Blair's gone. Rowe will probably go if we get relegated. Anderson's out of contract in the summer. And I don't know how true the Charlton Insider was a couple of streams ago about a 500k bid. But there's no stopping Charlton getting a pre-contract for the summer and Anderson leaving in the summer. So even with the injury for longer than January, probably 3 months injury. So, you know,
You just need to get the players out of contract that you want to keep. You need to get them tied down as soon as possible, regardless whether they're injured, regardless whether they.
Well, look at the players out of contract. If we let all the contracts at the end of this season run down, we're going to have 9 contracted professionals, 9 players.
And then you're just in a state of what. You're basically looking at what Swindon was like at the start of the season. I know it's a different situation than what Swindon was in. You're basically looking at the amount of players that they had come the start of the season.
And then what are we going to do? We're going to do what we always do every year and bring in a brand new squad.
It seems that way, and I'm not being funny. And there's no disrespect to Donny. You can't do that every season because the players that you keep have to find new ways to communicate with these new players and figure out how they play compared to how the old players played.
It's, like I said, we're only going to have 9 contracted professionals if we don't tie down more contracts. And it's going to be another season where we have to bring in a new squad that's going to have to gel in a lower league this time. Yeah, what's going to happen? In 5 years' time, we're going to have a completely new squad and it's all conference players playing in the Vanarama National League. I mean, that's not the way to run a football club.
I just don't know because, like I said, obviously last season you was starting to play. That's the first time I really followed Donny. Like it was through you, to be fair, and obviously, all that, and then obviously Darren Moore left, like we all know, and then it collapsed, and he left, and then you got Wellington. Fans thought it was going to be, it might go okay, with it being in second spell. It hasn't gone okay, and then you've kind of.
We went down the inexperienced route.
And then the board, yes, some fans might be happy with the appointment of McJeffrey, but some of the fan base will be very disappointed in it because
I think most of the fan base was disappointed, but it wasn't anything against McJeffrey. It was all against the board.
Just you need experience.
Yeah. And that, whatever Gary McJeffrey's done, he's not at fault for what's happened. The reason why people by about 90% of the fan base, 95% of the fan base got angry with the appointment of McJeffrey, it wasn't anything to do with Gary. It was the fact that the board had 140 plus applicants from around the world. Some of them household names. Some of them knew the league inside out. Some of them knew the divisions lower down and higher up inside out. Some of them were probably non-league managers getting their first Football League step-ups that they've applied for. 140 plus, and you go with the caretaker manager after nearly a month of waiting for an answer.
Why would you
That's
do that,
why
though?
people were
Why
angry.
would you do that? If you knew that you was probably going to go with the man that's currently under the management of the club, so what did you say, why you got the job and announce it straight away instead of waiting 3-4 weeks? Because it leaves the fans in uncertainty of who we're getting and where we're going to go from here.
Exactly. And this is the first time where I don't know where we're going. I heard news that Ruben Neves is interested in Man United to sign for them. Could be one of the reasons why Galbraith going back. He's going to get loaned out though again. If he's definitely leaving Rovers, he's going to get loaned out to the Championship or League One.
If Galbraith goes back, he's definitely going on loan, and he'll probably go on loan again next season because
I'm probably betting on a team like Sunderland getting him or someone from the Championship.
Well, yeah, because obviously going into next season, I know we're talking 8 months away or something, but he'll probably get loaned out again because that Garner from Forest is going to go back to United, and he'll probably stay at United. So there's no chance Galbraith getting into that team.
There's no chance Galbraith getting into that team unless the likes of Garner gets more of a chance, Fred goes.
Well, Garner will get more of a chance because I reckon Donny's going to go and I reckon Lingard's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, for the first team at United, you're going to expect people like Fred to want to go, Van der Beek to go, Neves might come in. If Neves don't come in, then I think we're probably looking at Garner and McTominay sort of being that backup partnership to your Pogbas and people like that.
If
Pogba stays, yeah, if Pogba stays.
And obviously, I think Fred will stay. I can't see Fred leaving.
Yeah,
McTominay will stay.
Yeah.
And if they do get Neves in, yeah, he's could sign him. But Garner's probably going to be the backup to him, or
Maybe Galbraith is
that.
a backup to Fred, and Garner back up to McTominay, and Garner and Galbraith becomes that sort of Carabao Cup midfield partnership.
It depends, because I feel like if they do recall him, and this is no disrespect again to Donny, and if they do loan him out to like the championship level, I wonder if that's because I think the players around Galbraith haven't been good enough this season in their performances. And I think what they want to do, they want to send him to the championship, see how he does there, and see how he bonds with the players there, and then potentially bring him back and maybe put him in like a 13 contention. But I don't know what the plan is with him, because how old is he? 20?
20. Yeah, 20.
Yeah, he's not exactly younger than him. I mean, yeah, he's young in football time, but in terms of wanting first team football regularly, he's not.
Yeah,
in that respect.
We replaced we replaced Marquise with someone who flogs Christmas trees. Kwame Thomas. As to owners being there, no, they are not. I walked around before going in 30 minutes before kickoff, and they're not blue here.
Yeah, they don't tend to be. I mean, I know there is some owners who do go like.
Sometimes, to be fair, though, sometimes they are in the stand. Sometimes they are in the stand.
I mean,
in the
not
press box.
It's not like every owner's from England, so
yeah.
Like,
well, no, our owners are from England.
Yeah, all right. Just like with this, obviously with Hull, obviously he said he'll be there on Saturday against Everton, but how many games from then onwards he'll be there, I don't know.
Yeah. How is the takeover been announced yet?
No, I think it's expected. Well, Hull fans are expecting it tomorrow, so
I thought it was expected today. To be honest, I thought some people.
Yeah, I thought it was. But Ehab has confirmed that he's getting closer. Akun Ilichai has announced he will be at the game on Saturday, so I think we're expecting an announcement for Saturday.
Because
the new our new director of football wants it obviously gets announced, and that he's already in talks with the club, so it's very close.
Yeah, the majority of signings this season are Wellington signings. He favours Manchester-based players Barlow, Williams, Gardner, Galbraith, all Manc-based players. Nolan Smith have played under him. Dadu we knows from Leicester, who will look close, and Rowe signed straight away, so they were his signings, and also Lowe will probably been recommended by United. Only really Vilka, who are younger signings, I reckon. Not sure about Dahlberg or Chakur. Yeah, I get that. Might be good for the youth to go to League Two for their development. If we stay up, I can see the same happening. 1-year contracts and loans to go nowhere. Back in the O'Driscoll days, we had a team that cared for. I love the O'Driscoll days. The O'Driscoll days had a proper club. Don't get why everyone moaned about how long they took to decide on McSheffrey. They may have had him in mind to start with, but the interview process made up their minds to see what Gary's plans are. That's definitely a factor. Bolton was making out McSheffrey wasn't a cheap option, but we all know he wouldn't offer him more than anyone with championship experience. All they do is lie to us. No disrespect to Galbraith, but he's nowhere near good enough for United yet, and I doubt he'll ever will be. He's 20 and playing in the League One. Look at Billy Gilmore already playing in the Prem. Mm-hmm. And I do get that. But there we go. Right, let's look through. Let's use our trusty BBC Sport again, and let's go through today's transfer stories from League One and League Two. Of course, new contracts, etc. So let's go through our first one, and that is signing from Plymouth Argyle. The former West Ham youngster Alfie Lewis has signed on a free transfer. The 22-year-old joins after the expiry of his contract with the Irish Premiership Division side St Patrick's Athletic, where he won the FIA Cup and helped the side finish second in the league. The former West Ham youngster made 3 appearances for the club's academy side in the EFL Trophy before moving to Ireland last year, scoring 3 goals in 31 games. Now, Argyle boss Stephen Schumacher said Alfie was a good prospect at West Ham and has gone and played a year of men's football in Ireland. He's a player we've highlighted in the summer, and we feel he's one we could develop and hopefully can be a big player for us now and in the future. Barnsley's Ben Williams has signed for an undisclosed fee for Cheltenham. Cheltenham have signed the Wales under-21 left-back Ben Williams from Championship Barnsley, an undisclosed fee for the 22-year-old who has signed a deal until 2024. He helped the Tigers win promotion to the Championship in 2019 and played 5 times this season after recovering from a knee injury that kept him out the entire 2020-2021 campaign. He's feeling good and ready to hit the ground running. The last signing from League One is from Morecambe, on loan for the rest of the season for Trevor Carson, the Dundee United goalkeeper. Now, the move reunited the Northern Ireland national with manager Stephen Robinson, who he played under the pair when they were both at Motherwell. He made 340 senior appearances and cup appearances, as well as league appearances during his career at clubs such as Hartlepool and Bury. Robinson told the club's website he was excellent for me, my captain at times. When he brings his a vast amount of experience, he'll come in and compete with Kyle, and he just gives us a bit more experience that we haven't got in the squad at the moment. The former Sunderland Academy player Carson has played 5 times for the Tangerines this season, including last month's 1-0 defeat by Rangers. So 3 big League One stories there. Barnsley get Williams from Cheltenham for an undisclosed fee. Keep that in mind, Rovers board. Cheltenham paid money. We haven't. Plymouth Argyle has signed Alfie Lewis, and Morecambe get Trevor Carson on a season-long loan from Dundee United. Before we sort of talk about these stories, let's go through these comments. I feel that they've bred overspending, which could get away with, but it hurts in the owners. When I was in the youth, Rob Betts moved for good money, give the youth time and stop selling them quick to cover expenses of the academy. This season, we let talent go to a team to play their under 23. No good. The board likes to remind us that we're a well-run club, but if we really were, why we would let assets go for free or below than they're worth year upon year? Watters would have funded this window. Exactly. That's something we would take into account. Lewis, let's get your first thoughts on the League One transfers then. Starting off with the big one from Argyle, Alfie Lewis. Is he a good up-and-coming sign that's going to hopefully help push Argyle when needed to keep them in that playoff spots?
I don't really know. I don't have a clue who this kid is. Like, I don't really know. Because, like, obviously, it depends. It depends because it's like what Schumacher said. He's signed him because he feels like he'll be easy to develop, and obviously, as you know, and obviously known other League One clubs and fans who support a club in League One, it is a good stepping stone, and it is a good way to develop players in like a league like this. So,
yeah,
we'll see, but like I said, I don't really know much about him. So
yeah, 100%. This one's kind of angered me as a Rovers fan because Cheltenham have actually paid money for this transfer. Ben Williams obviously had a big injury last season that kept him out of the campaign. Involved in the promotion side to the Championship in 2019. Do you think that Ben Williams is a good signing for Cheltenham? I mean, they've let Dan Crowley go. They've let Kyle Joseph go back to that first team setup at Swansea, and they've brought in Ben Williams. Do you think he's a good signing on that left-hand side?
Well, I'm pretty sure he won't get him. I'm quite sure he wasn't getting played at Barnsley, so I'm not too sure if he was or not. So I think if he wasn't, don't come with. I'm not quite sure. If he wasn't, it's a step down, but it will give him more football if he wasn't getting played. So overall, for him, it could be. And for them, I think probably is a good signing because, you know, granted, he took someone from the Championship who might not be good enough for the Championship, but it's somebody who had experience in that league above that could maybe give that experience to maybe like the younger players in that Cheltenham squad and push them up the league and get away from. I'm pretty sure they're near the relegation, aren't they? I'm not too sure, but
no, I think Cheltenham. Let's hang on. Let's have a look. Cheltenham. Cheltenham, they are 15th, so they're kind of mid-table.
in terms of, I thought.
in terms of how far they are away from relegation, they're only 7 points above the drop, but they're also they're also about 8 points away from inside the top 10, but they're like 5 points away from 10th. So it's a great season for Cheltenham so far.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I
three
think
of
that
our
might.
former Rovers players are there: Williams, May, Blair, people we need right now.
But I think that might drop off, though, to be fair, for Cheltenham. Like, no offense to Cheltenham, but they lost Kyle Joseph. I think he's a very good player from what I saw at like Wigan, and obviously, for him to go back to Swansea, clearly Swansea seen something. So,
yeah,
I think
and Dan
that
Crowler's
was
gone back as well. Dan Crowler's gone back as well. Well, he's left his contract, so
Jesus,
what
he's been
happens?
everywhere. He was at
What happens?
Birmingham, then he was at Hull. We didn't want to
I,
sign him, so he
I
went
won't
back
be
to Birmingham,
surprised if he comes. I won't be surprised if he comes here.
Matt Nita.
But yeah, and then finally, Morecambe get a nice experience 33-year-old goalkeeper. Will that be a good experience sign to keep them in League One? Because I think Morecambe will stay up, to be honest. Especially if they don't sell Cole Stockton, or if they sell him and replace him well, then I think they'll stay up.
I think it is good experience, and obviously, it gives that experience in goal. And if it might be someone who can maybe demand that defense more, if their keeper weren't the best at that, it's somebody who can maybe demand them more. And it's definitely it's experience, so it's helpful in any situation. But to fight relegation, it's probably something that you need.
Yeah, 100%. Club should hire you for media. You do more for this club than them. Respect. Thank you very much. I think the last player we paid for was Cameron John.
Oh,
And
God.
that was a year and a half. I think that was a year and a half. That was a year ago. That was like nearly a year and a half ago.
Wow.
Great stream. Thank you very much. Our record signing was 12 years ago. Billy Sharp 12 years ago. Maybe releasing some of Baldwin and Blunt's shares to bring in extra investment would be a good idea if Bram Hudson want to fund the club by himself. That's possibly an idea, but do they want to give up their shares that much? I don't know. If you did a division of average attendance, what would it be? In terms of our average attendance, let's have a look.
I've just got some breaking news.
Oh yeah,
Trippier's apparently passed his medical.
Interesting. So our average attendance in the 1920 season at home was 8,252. Our average this season at home so far in 11 home matches, is 6,673. Now, it's not been as low as that since just over 6,000 in 16-17 when we were in League Two. It was 6,500 the season before when we went down to League Two. Before then, we had 3 years between 2008 and 2011 where our attendance exceeded 10,000. So, doesn't exactly look good, does it? But there we go. If you're talking about Bojang Danny, then I was told by someone who watched the YouTube regularly that he didn't have a good enough season last season. There's a lot of injuries. The AFCON under-20s helped raise his profile. Yeah, and that may be a decision. Where is John Taylor? He's still injured. Do you not see through Baldwin's interview the other day, anyone? No, I haven't actually. This season, I'm guessing will be around 15th, 16th average attendance, probably. But let's get into our League Two deals. We're not going to talk too much into this because we don't really know a lot about it. We're going to go from the last story we covered, which was the story about Ryan Loft. So we're going to go from there, and we're going to talk about stories that were breaking late yesterday, but also stories right here today. So let's go to. We're going to start off right at the beginning with Walsall turned Mansfield Town defender's loan into a permanent deal. Of course, Roland Maniese. Walsall turned the Roland Maniese's loan deal into a permanent switch after signing the defender for an undisclosed fee from League Two rivals Mansfield. Now, Maniese has played 25 games for the Southeast since arriving from the Stags and has agreed a deal until 2024. He joined Mansfield from Bristol Rovers in 2020, but featured just 14 times for them and spent part of last season on loan at Grimsby. He said, "I'm enjoying my football and I want to carry on doing that." Sam Burns, the Scunthorpe United new signing from Blackburn Rovers on a loan till the end of the season following lost departure to Bristol Rovers. The 19-year-old is yet to make a senior appearance at Blackburn, but has been a regular at under 23 level, scoring 7 goals this season. He had a spell at FC United of Manchester this season, and he'll remain in League Two Irons until May. Hayden Hackney's loan has also been extended until May from Middlesbrough at Scunthorpe, so maybe a couple of signings there to keep them in the Football League. John Joe O'Toole, the Mansfield Town manager, says he's fighting to keep the midfielder, as talks over a new deal will soon be out as they talk over a new deal reaching a critical point. He left Burton last summer and scored twice in 10 games since signing a short-term Mansfield deal in October. The deal expires this month, and Clough confirms O'Toole has other offers. Are we one of those other offers? I don't know. But Nigel Clough has said he's got better offers from elsewhere and from a higher division, so we are battling against that at the moment. Having previously been on a 14-match winless run in all competitions, Mansfield have won 9 of their 10 games since O'Toole's debut, coming from relegation candidates to promotion hopefuls in 9th place. We were a bit unlucky that he's done so well because he's attracted other teams the way he has played, but we are still hopeful we will manage to persuade him to stay. Now we have a Harrogate duo joining from Huddersfield, Josh Austenfield and Brahim Diarra, joining until the end of the season. Austenfield, 20 years old, has made 2 senior appearances from the Terriers since joining the club from the Leeds amateurs Drylington. Paris-born Diarra, 18 years old, has also played twice for Huddersfield's first team. Both Josh and Brahima have got a huge amount of potential, says Simon Weaver, the manager. We don't see them as just on the periphery players. We see them challenging the current starters and really enhancing our chances of doing well this season. They're currently 5 points off the playoff places in League Two. Swindon have signed Crystal Palace centre-back Jake O'Brien on loan until the end of the season. The 20-year-old initially joined the Eagles in February on loan before joining them permanently in the summer. He came through the ranks at Cork City. He's been playing for Palace under 23s teams this season. He's delighted to be joining Swindon. Hopefully he can play a part in getting up the table. Ben Garner's Robins are 5th in League Two, 2 points beyond the automatic promotion place, and of course have the brand new owners. Scott Davis, the Tranmere Rovers goalkeeper, has retired at the age of 34. He's not featured since suffering an Achilles injury in March 2021. He made a total of 238 appearances for Prenton Park and helped them win promotion from the National League to League One. He joined from Fleetwood in 2015 and said he will remain at the club until the end of his contract in the summer. So this summer is the last we'll see of Scott Davis. Norwich City have loaned striker Tyrese Omatoye to Carlisle United for the remainder of the season. The 19-year-old spent the first half of the season at Cumbrian's League Two rivals Leyton Orient, where he played 8 games without scoring. The former Belgium youth forward Omatoye, who played 4 first-team games at Norwich, offers Carlisle options after Brad Young's return to Aston Villa. The boss, Keith Miller, says he's a player we've watched. Norwich think a lot of him as a person, as a footballer. They've loaned him to Orient for the first part of the season, but he probably didn't get enough game time. Carlisle struggled for goals so far this season, scoring only 16 in 22 games this term, the joint lowest in the league. He had a spell at Swindon last season and last scored 3 goals in that spell in 10 Premier League 2 games for Norwich under 23 side. Penultimate story, Josh McPake has signed on loan from Rangers to Tranmere Rovers. Now, obviously, he's been on loan to Morecambe so far this season, playing 7 games in all competitions. And he's made 1 senior appearances for the Light Blues in addition to loans at Dundee, Greenock Morton and Harrogate Town. The Rovers boss Mickey Mellon said, "We're delighted to sign Josh. We felt that you needed more competition and quality on top of what we already have. We need as many options as possible to try and win games." And Josh brings us that. And finally, Crawley Town centre-back Joel Lynch has signed a brand new 18-month contract. The 34-year-old has scored 2 goals in 9 appearances since joining the League Two Red Devils in September. He began his career at Brighton in 2005 before spells at Nottingham Forest, Huddersfield Town, QPR and Sunderland. Telling the club website, "It's been a long time coming, to be fair. My first contract was sorted, so I'm delighted to get a new one sorted. It's exactly what I wanted. It is home for me. and I've really enjoyed my time here so far. So that is from League Two. Originally, I wasn't thinking about going through the championship. No, I'm not going to do that. We're not a championship. But there we go. Who do you think we should sign? Says Josh. It's hard, really. I am going to probably put a video out there. Obviously, I'm not going to be, affected by any last minute deals after the video goes up or before the video goes up because nothing's imminent. So I've got a bit of time to put the video out there. But I'll probably do a full video on that. In McSheffrey, we trust. Leeds have released shares to the owners of the 49ers to raise capital. Seems to be a good model for them. Obviously, we won't get someone like the 49ers, but I'm sure it could be attractive. That's one way of doing it. Who would you say is the best player to fit the system we're playing and try and help us stay in League One? Again, it's a hard one. I'm going to have to do some thinking with that one. And that, the lack of car boot, cash shop business underlined the penny pinching for me. Don't need to risk youth. Look at England and the Yorkshire lads in it. No fluke. We have the numbers from Yorkshire lads in it. Yeah, I think that's definitely a way forward. I mean, Lewis, I don't know what you're thinking. What do you think we need to do to get this club back up to where it needs to be? Do you think we need to be doing a youth model, or do you think that it's just trying, convince the quality to come, or do you just think that we're doomed until someone else comes in to steer the club back to its glory days?
Well, I think in terms of signings and in terms of youth and experience, you need a bit of both. Like, you need experience because obviously you want the experience of, I know what I'm doing. Obviously everyone knows what they're doing, but I know like these type of situations kind of thing, and I'm experiencing not necessarily like these situations, but like in these type of like divisions, and obviously it can they can teach the young lads a bit more, and obviously give them some quality as well. So I think you probably need a bit of both. But in terms of this season, I think you're doomed. For me personally, I can't see you staying up unless you get some serious investment done.
It's going to take a miracle into it.
Yeah, it's like I said, serious investment advice. You have the top 8 of the top 10 plus Ipswich in your next 9 games.
We've got the top 8 plus Ipswich in the next 10 games after Fleetwood, and then Accrington on the 22nd of February as well. So let me just go through the remainder of our games. In my opinion, Okabiri is done. He's finished. So I would look for a striker, a centre midfielder, and a winger. Keep Horton at left back, class player. Yeah, and he's still got room to develop. So looking at our remaining games, then, so we've got Fleetwood on Saturday at home. Then we're hosting Wigan. Then we're away at MK Dons. Then we're hosting Plymouth. Then we're hosting Rotherham. Then we're away at Sunderland. Then we're hosting Ipswich. Then we're away at Portsmouth. Then we're away at Lincoln. Then we're hosting Sheffield Wednesday. Then we're hosting Accrington. Then we're away at AFC Wimbledon. Then we're away at Cheltenham. Then we're hosting Gillingham. Then we're away at Fleetwood. Then we're hosting Charlton. Then we're away at Wickham. Then we're hosting Crewe. Then hosting Bolton. Then away at Shrewsbury. Last home game against Burton. Last away game against Oxford. So, I mean, do you really see a run on paper?
You look at the likes of Fleetwood. You need 3 points there.
Yeah.
On Saturday, you need 3 points on Saturday.
If we don't get 3 points against Fleetwood, then it's curtains.
I think it's over. Sheffield Wednesday, if they're still in the bad patch that they're currently in, a point would be a good result. But if we're looking at Sheffield, they're pushing for playoffs and potentially automatic. But
Sheffield Wednesday fans even said to us, "You'll probably turn your form around against us," and we're all saying no chance. You're going to probably turn your form around against us.
No, I mean, if they stay in their sticky patch that they're in a minute, you could nick a point or maybe get the win. Lincoln, you need 3 points there. Ipswich, they're turning the seam just saw us turning their season around slowly under McKenna.
Most of these games are just going to be defeats, aren't they?
Rotherham, I can't see any chance. Plymouth, you've been looking to get a draw, I think, because they've got
problem with Plymouth was we were 1-0 up and then we blew it away, and the referee kind of had a hand in that with the decision on the penalty. But
if I was Niall, I'm not Niall, but if I was Niall, I'd be sitting there and saying you're getting bad 3-4-0, but I'm not Niall.
And I probably agree with him because Plymouth have got a much stronger side.
Plymouth doing one. I wouldn't have thought they would have done this well to start season. I'll tell you that now. But considering where they were last season, where they are now, it's ridiculously good. Wickham, I don't know. Gillingham, you need 3 points, but that's near back in the season. You could be relegated by then.
We could be relegated by March, to be honest.
All I'm going to say, you need to get 3 points on Saturday and see where you can go from there.
And what happens if we don't?
When it is, I think it's game over. Because what you cannot afford to do is go 1-2-0 up on Saturday and do what you did against Morecambe.
What we did against Morecambe was disgusting.
Because I saw it because I was streaming at the time and I'm like, okay, Doncaster 1-0 up. Kenny in the chat. Doncaster's winning. 2-0, 3-0. Kenny's just not in a good state. Like, what the hell's happening? I got off stream, second half. 3-1 Doncaster. No, 3-1. I'm like, okay. They've got one back. Surely Doncaster's still okay. 3-2. Oh, shit. 3-3. Oh, surely not. No way.
And then 4-3. And then 4-3.
And then I saw 4-3. I'm like, you're taking the piss. Honestly,
as soon as I saw that and I saw 4-3 on the match, as soon as I was watching that and I saw 4-3, I was like, we are going down. If we can't hold 3 goals against Morecambe.
I just saw, I'm like, I'm sorry, Aaron, but I think you're in the mud. I think your club is League 2 next season.
Yeah, I think our club. There was people that work at the club saying to me we'll be lucky to be in the conference in 3 years. That just says everything that we've said.
Ouch. Oh,
they've said it since the home win against Morecambe months ago.
Gee, okay, ow. Oh dear. If people who work for the club ain't confident, then I don't know where your club's at. Oh dear.
It's
a mess.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
If you do want some very quick championship news, basically this Turkish geezer, I'm not going to try and attempt his name. I don't know who he is. Yeah. He terminated his contract at Bursaspor. The captain of Bursaspor, he basically said, I'm leaving. Terminated his contract. And he's been living in the city. He's now set to sign the City. So I think that's going to be the first signing under the new ownership. I don't know who he is.
Hull ready to sign Emirhan Aydogan after his Bursaspor exit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Hull City are going to go far under this ownership.
He's a midfielder, though, and I'm like, granted, depth is very good in the Championship.
Well, maybe Regan Slater will.
He's rumored to come back.
Well, I think Wigan's in for him. So I think if you get
Wigan that want him.
I think Wigan will probably get Slater if you get Aydogan in.
I don't know because
unless you're providing depth in positions.
Well, in the summer, Slater's dad was fuming that he didn't get Wigan Slater's dad was fuming that Sheffield didn't let him go to Hull. So I think once his dad sits him down and speaks to him, he'll be coming to Hull.
Yeah, And to be fair, when you've got a young player like Regan Slater being, sort of on the cusp of being a first teamer to compete with the likes of this Eidegan coming in, I mean, Hull's just going to go from strength to strength. I won't be surprised if you're not back in the Premiership in a few years.
Well, we need some serious investment for that. But I
think, I've got confidence the new owner will do it. Then I've got confidence.
I do. I think.
I mean, you've got a takeover coming. Southampton's got their new takeover. They're going to get some major investment.
Well, this guy's worth less than our current owner, but the issue of our current owner, he's not willing to put money into the club. Where this new guy, Akun Ilichai, he said since the rumours started coming around, I want to own an English club regardless of the league and the status. And I want to obviously put money into the club to help the club as much as possible. And that's obviously what you want in football, like someone willing to come into the club and put money into the club. Because when you have owners that don't want to put money into the club anymore, it's just like, is there any point in you being here?
And that's what I'm sort of thinking with yours. If we're ever in a situation where we could get new owners, I want someone that's going to, it doesn't matter where we are, where we're located, it doesn't matter how far we are in the leagues. If a new owner is ever going to come into the club, I dream it's someone like a Ilichai or a Vichai at Leicester, the late Vichai at Leicester. Someone that wants to put money into the community of Doncaster as well as the football club and get it to where it needs to be. Because look at our facilities, look at our stadium, look at the stuff that we've got. We are Championship at the very, very least. We should be higher than League Two. We should be higher than League Two by a million miles. It's just taking that special someone to see something in us if they want to take us over.
Well, obviously, we've known this was going to happen because back in, I think, like late November, early mid-November, something around that time, Akun put pictures of like the club shop on Instagram, and you don't.
I mean, it's great for anyone to do that. It's amazing.
Yeah. But in terms of when we weren't, the takeover went a bit quiet for about a few months because it did go very quiet. But obviously that came out and everyone's like, well, then surely something's going on. We don't know if that's going on. Because obviously the club don't want us to know anything about this takeover and how close we are to get it done because obviously they don't want it, like, fans to be like, when's it happening, this, that, and other. And obviously begging, when you see like the proposed owner to put stuff on like from like your club shop and your whole city shirts and all that, you kind of think to yourself, it is happening regardless of when it happens.
It's not a question of if. It's not a question of if anymore, it's when.
Yeah, I mean, I know why this guy's left Liverpool because obviously we're still under this embargo. So he needs to come on a free if he's going to come to us. But I would assume that the first thing after the announcement is getting this embargo lifted because we need a goal scorer. We don't have one at the minute, and that's what's letting us down. Like I went to Blackpool away, and that's just what let us down that game. We couldn't score. Like, a goal scorer is a must, and I think obviously everyone knows that you need a goal scorer because if you don't, then it's going to cost your season. And with Doncaster, it seems you haven't had one all season.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, we're going to go through these last comments and then I'm going to wrap it up there. So, Lewis, thank you very, very much for coming on the show, mate. Great to see you as always. Right, let's go through final comments. Personally, for me, McSheffrey's not at fault. Wellens brought in the terrible players and got sacked, and McSheffrey couldn't do much with the squad. So these transfers will be done this month. I think season's over. There's no getting out of this. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I can't see it. I completely agree with you. And I agree with you as well. Anything less than the win on Saturday, it's season over. It's just simple as that. It doesn't matter what happens in this window. If we're going down the youth route, you can't just play them. You need a mix of experience to guide them. We don't have that. Exactly. Saturday once it went 3-1, you knew what was coming. Sorry, boys, just got up. We've had it. Looking from the outside, nothing much will change. Too much just to clear out. If Rovers are linked with anyone, no, not at the moment. Marquis been ruled out. Downing's pretty much been ruled out. And nothing else has come about. So there we are. So thank you very much, guys, for watching this stream. Big shout out to Lewis for coming on as well. I'm sorry we couldn't get any more of you on. The situation at Rovers just depresses me every day, and you know it's not going to be relieved of the depression unless we start signing quality players. But yeah, anything less than a win on Saturday is curtains. And if Galbraith's not involved in the side at all on Saturday, then I think we can pretty much say that the writing's on the wall with Galbraith. Same with Dalberg as well. You know, if we put a youth keeper in or something like that, then it's probably going to be curtains for both of them. But there we go. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. I'm Aaron Chandler from Forever Football DRC. Keep living the Rovers life, and that, my friends, full time. Thank you very much. Rovers side die, and I'll see you all for another January Transfer Live.